Hello everyone, welcome to Elite Rankers Academy. This is your mentor Dr. Shamaita Basu, and this is continuation of the biomolecules part which we had started since the last session. So in this session we will be talking about the biological compounds. So we will be mainly starting with amino acids and then we will be moving on to the lipids and other heterocyclic compounds. Okay, so let's first focus on amino acids. The first part of the session will be about amino acids. Now, what are amino acids? I think the basic idea I have already given in the previous session, that amino acids are the units of proteins. So, they are the functional and the structural units of proteins. So, the proteins will be formed from the amino acids. A group of amino acids together will be forming peptide bond, and hence we will be getting a protein. That is the basic concept. Okay. So now what are these amino acids? Obviously they will be organic compounds, because this is something I have already told, that 80% or almost 90 to 95% of our body is made up of different organic compounds. And what is the main constituent when we are talking about amino acids? The main constituent will be nitrogen and carboxyl group. Okay, or rather amino group and carboxyl group. So let's see how they are defining amino acids over here. So they are organic compounds containing an amino group, exactly what I said, and an acidic group as substituents on the same carbon, that is the alpha carbon. Now, what is the alpha carbon? See, this is the entire structure, or how exactly an amino acid looks like. Okay, so this is basically the alpha carbon, and from the alpha carbon we can see on the right hand side we are having an acidic group, which is basically the carboxyl group, because COOH, we all know that COH means carboxyl group. On the left hand side if you focus, what we have NH2, which is the amino group. Amino group का main जो constituent है, that is nitrogen. Okay, and then the other side we have a hydrogen molecule, and on the other side of this alpha carbon what we have is R. And what is this R? Again, something I have already told in the previous session, that R is the functional group, or it is also referred as the side chain. Okay, and this R will keep varying from one amino acid to other amino acid. In fact, depending on what group is present in the position of R, the particular amino acid or the particular type or the particular name of that amino acid will be given. We will be seeing that in the upcoming slides. Okay, so बीच में जो कार्बन है उसको हम बोलेंगे अल्फा कार्बन. Okay, so therefore amino acids को हम लोग alpha amino acids भी बोल सकते हैं. क्यों? Because the entire structure is revolving around this alpha carbon. Okay. Okay, now moving forward, amino acids are substituted methanes. So मीथेन का जो स्ट्रक्चर है वो ऐसा है, ठीक है. बीच में कार्बन है और कार्बन का 4 वैलेंसी है, हमें पता है, और चारों वैलेंसी में एक एक हाइड्रोजन बैठा है, ठीक है. सो बेसिकली CH4, तो इसको हम बोलते हैं मीथेन. तो यही मीथेन को अगर हम सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे, सब्स्टिट्यूट मीन्स अ बिट ऑफ चेंजेस इन द स्ट्रक्चर, तो हमें मिलेगा अमीनो एसिड. ओके, सो ये जो कार्बन है इसका चारों वैलेंसी है, चारों वैलेंसी मतलब चारों पोजीशन है. ओके, तो वो चारों पोजीशन में क्या क्या रहेगा? एक तो हाइड्रोजन ग्रुप रहेगा, एक कार्बोक्सिल ग्रुप रहेगा, एक एमिनो ग्रुप रहेगा, और एक रहेगा वेरिएबल ग्रुप जिसको हम R से डिनोट करेंगे. तो एग्जैक्टली वही यहाँ पे दिखाया है. Okay, so this is the alpha carbon, this is the amino group, this is the carboxyl group, and this is the R, which is the side chain, which will be keeping on changing. Okay. नाउ ये जो R ग्रुप है इसके नेचर के ऊपर डिपेंड करके बहुत सारे टाइप्स ऑफ एमिनो एसिड्स होंगे, जो मैं बार बार बोल रही हूँ, ठीक है. तो कितने टाइप्स है? दिस इज अगेन समथिंग आई हैव टोल्ड बिफोर. देयर आर टोटल 21 टाइप्स ऑफ एमिनो एसिड्स, ठीक है. उसमें से कुछ है एसेंशियल एमिनो एसिड्स, कुछ है नॉन एसेंशियल एमिनो एसिड्स, ठीक है. एसेंशियल मतलब क्या? जो बहुत ही जरूरी है बॉडी के लिए. तो एसेंशियल एमिनो एसिड्स विल बी दोज एमिनो एसिड्स व्हिच द बॉडी विल नॉट बी एबल टू सिंथेसाइज ऑन इट्स ओन, and hence it requires it from the outside. Outside means through food, खाने के जरिए से, ठीक है. और नॉन एसेंशियल अमीनो एसिड्स किसको बोलेंगे? नॉन एसेंशियल मतलब क्या? उतना जरूरी नहीं है, उतना जरूरत नहीं है. इसका मतलब जरूरत नहीं है मतलब it doesn't mean that the body do not require those amino acids. No, but the body can synthesize those amino acids on its own. So even if the body requires it and you are not having it through your food, then the body can manufacture or synthesize it on its own. That's why it's non-essential. ओके, बट इट डजंट नेसेसरली मीन दैट नॉन एसेंशियल मतलब वो चाहिए ही नहीं, वो नहीं भी होगा तो भी चल जाएगा, नहीं, इट्स रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द बॉडी, बट द बॉडी कैन सिंथेसाइज इट ऑन इट्स ओन। ओके, तो ये जो 21 अमीनो एसिड्स है, among them 11 amino acids will be non-essential and 9 amino acids will be essential. So 11 plus 9 हो गया 21. Okay. Now यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहा है कि R group जो है वो क्या क्या हो सकता है, ठीक है। एक तो वो हाइड्रोजन हो सकता है, इफ द R group is nothing but hydrogen then the amino acid will be glycine. If the R group is nothing but methyl group, that is CH3, then it will be alanine. If it is a hydroxyl methyl group, मतलब हाइड्रोक्सिल ग्रुप के साथ साथ मिथाइल ग्रुप दोनों ही अगर है तो उसको हम सेरीन बोलेंगे। तो ऐसे करके 21 टाइप्स का अमीनो एसिड्स होंगे, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे देखो कुछ कुछ इमेजेस आई हैव गिवन, सो दिस इज द इमेज ऑफ ग्लाइसिन वेयर H is the R group, okay. Then we have the image of alanine where methyl group is the R group, just as they have mentioned over here. And then we also have the image of serine where hydroxyl methyl group is the R group, okay. Moving forward, the chemical and physical properties of amino acids are due to what? One is the amino group, one is the carboxyl group, and the third one is the R functional group. तो जो तीन मेन ग्रुप है, यानी कि R ग्रुप जो जिसको हम फंक्शनल ग्रुप या साइड चेन बोलेंगे, कार्बोक्सिल ग्रुप और एमिनो ग्रुप, बिकॉज यू सी कार्बोक्सिल एंड एमिनो ग्रुप आर फिक्स्ड, दे हैज टू बी प्रेजेंट इन एनी टाइप ऑफ एमिनो एसिड. The group which will vary is the R group. So depending on these three groups, the physical and chemical property or the physical and chemical nature of the amino acid will also vary. So based on the number of amino and carboxyl groups attached, amino acids are, they can be acidic in nature, they can be basic in nature, okay. Basic in nature अगर होगा उसका example होगा histidine, lysine, arginine, as you can see over here, okay. And they can also be neutral amino acids. Neutral amino acids मतलब ना acidic है वो, ना basic है, ठीक है। तो न्यूट्रल अमीनो एसिड्स का बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स है, एज यू कैन सी ग्लाइसिन, एलानिन, वेलिन, लीसीन, आइसोल्यूसिन, मिथोनिन, फिनाइलएलानाइन, ट्रिप्टोफैन एंड प्रोलिन, ओके। So I think around 10 amino acids will be neutral amino acids. So they will neither be acidic in nature nor will be basic in nature, okay. Now talking about something called aromatic amino acids, okay. So aromatic नाम से ही पता चल रहा है, aromatic मतलब aromatic ring उसमें है, okay. So whenever an amino acid is containing an aromatic ring, it will be known as a aromatic amino acids. What will be the examples? Tyrosine, phenylalanine and tryptophan. Very important, you have to remember the names of these aromatic amino acids, okay. And as you can see in the figure also, they are having different rings, okay. So each of the amino acids are having a type of aromatic ring and hence they are known as aromatic amino acids, okay. So tyrosine, tryptophan and phenylalanine, these are the names that you have to remember. I will just highlight it for you so it becomes easier for you to remember, okay. Moving forward, something called zeta ion, okay. What is zeta ion? जो फिगर यहाँ पे दिख रहा है, जो घूम रहा है like a GIF, that is exactly what a zeta ion is. तो zeta ion कुछ नहीं है, it's a molecule. Obviously since हम amino acid में उसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो obviously it will be a type of amino acid, isn't it? Which carries both positive and a negative charge, लेकिन वो equal है, okay. Means the number of positive charge will be equal to the number of negative charge present. So what will happen? They will cancel out each other, isn't it? So the net charge will be zero. The net charge will be neutral, and that is exactly the property of a zeta ion. So it is having both positive and negative charges, but since they are equal, so they are balancing each other out, and ultimately जो मिल रहा है वो है zero charge, ठीक है। तो इसमें देखो exactly the structure or the figure that you can see over here, okay. So this is nothing but an amino acid, as you can see, क्योंकि amino group है, carboxyl group है, बीच में alpha carbon है, then एक side में hydrogen है and एक side में R और functional group, ठीक है। So what is happening over here? See, on the left hand side in the amino group you can see a positive charge is there, and on the right hand side a negative charge is there. So one positive and one negative charge, so they will be cancelling out each other. As a result, the overall charge of this amino acid will become zero. That is exactly the concept of a zeta ion. So it is a neutral molecule with a positive and a negative electrical charge, okay. Moving forward, The particular property of amino acids is due to the ionizable nature of amino and carboxyl groups. Ionizable nature मतलब कभी भी वो चार्ज अपना बदल सकता है, ठीक है. An amino acid can have several forms depending on the pH of the system. So if it's a low pH का concept I hope all of you know. So the pH scale runs from 1 to 14. 7 means it's neutral pH, neither acidic nor basic. If it's less than 7 means from 1 to 7 it will be acidic. Precisely from 1 to 6.9 it will be acidic, and if it is more than 7, that is from 7.1 to 14, it will be basic or alkaline. That is the concept of pH. So low pH मतलब acidic condition. So in acidic conditions what will happen, the amino group जो है that will be protonated by the addition of a proton. Okay. Proton, neutron, electron, we all know. Neutron means neutral charge, no charge. Proton means positive charge, and electron means negative charge. So protonated matlab addition of proton. So addition of positive charge. So if the pH is less or acidic, then the amino group of the amino acid will capture a proton from the acid. Okay. And if, because acid means there are lots of protons. Okay, and if we are talking about ulta, means high pH, basic pH, alkaline pH, in that case what will happen? Number of protons will be less. So protons will not be available. So from the carboxyl group, protons will be removed. So that will be deprotonated. Deprotonation and protonation. These are the two important terms you need to know. So deprotonation means removal of proton, जो carboxyl group से होगा, और protonation means addition of proton, जो होगा जो मिलेगा to the amino group if the pH is acidic or low, and if the pH is more or basic, then deprotonation होगा, proton remove होगा from the carboxyl group. Okay, moving on. So this is something I have just given to help you make you understand more elaborately the concept of this protonation and deprotonation. Okay, so cations, we all know that cations are positively charged and anions are negatively charged. Okay, so positively charged means क्या, उसको proton मिल रहा है, ठीक है. So that is exactly what is happening if the pH is low or if the pH is acidic. This is exactly what we discussed in the previous slide. उसी का एक diagrammatic version है ये, ठीक है. So the zeta ion जो है वो बीच में रहेगा क्योंकि it's neutral. Okay, and neutral pH means 7. So pH scale का एकदम बीच में बैठेगा zeta ion क्योंकि it's neutral. Left side यानी कि where the pH is becoming low or acidic, there cation will come because protonation is occurring. The NH2 group is gaining a proton, so NH2 plus H plus मतलब NH3 plus होगा, isn't it? क्योंकि एक प्रोटॉन उसको मिल रहा है, एक H plus ion उसको मिल रहा है. What is proton? Proton is nothing but H plus ion, isn't it? तो वो NH2 से NH3 plus हो गया. So that is exactly what is happening in case of the low pH. So it is the cation because it is positive charge. And when we are talking about high pH or alkaline pH, then since the number of proton is less, H plus ions is less in number. So instead of protonation, deprotonation will occur. Removal of proton will occur. कहाँ से remove होगा? From the COH group. ठीक है? तो COH से वो हो जाएगा COO minus. Okay, जो कि होगा high pH या alkaline pH, and that will be the anion which is negative charged. Okay. Hence, in solutions of different pH, the structure of amino acids will change. So, depending on what type of pH it is, the structure of the amino acid will also change. Okay. Again, see यहाँ पे वही दिखाया है, low pH और acidic condition में there is protonation, H plus ion add हो रहा है. तो overall जो zeta ion पहले था वो अभी और zeta ion नहीं रहा है, वो एक cation हो गया है. Okay, and if the pH is high or basic, so exactly the opposite will be happening. Deprotonation होगा यानी कि H plus ग्रुप हट जाएगा मतलब क्या, OH माइनस ग्रुप ऐड हो जाएगा, नेगेटिव चार्ज आ जाएगा. तो जो पहले zeta आयन था वो अभी एक नेगेटिवली चार्ज आयन हो गया है यानी कि अनायन हो गया. ओके, now I will be talking or discussing with you some of the important MCQs regarding amino acids, and then we will be moving on to the lipids part of this section. Okay, so see the first MCQ that we have over here. Amino acids are organic compounds containing hydroxyl group, amino and acetic group, phosphate group, and then sulfate group. Okay, so obviously the correct option over here will be amino and acetic. Okay, if instead of amino and acetic group the option was amino and carboxyl group, then also that would be the right option. Okay, moving on to the next MCQ. Amino acids which occur in proteins are only of 19 types, 18 types, 10 types and 21 types. So we all know the right option will be 21 types, among which 11 will be non-essential amino acids and 9 will be essential amino acids. Okay. Next MCQ. Aromatic amino acids are glycine, alanine, valine, phenylalanine. So the right option will be phenylalanine. Okay, tryptophan, tyrosine and phenylalanine. ये तीन था aromatic amino acids जिनमें aromatic ring will be present and hence they will be known as aromatic amino acids. Okay. Now moving on to the second portion of this session, that is lipids and heterocyclic compounds. Okay. Now what are lipids? अगर सीधे भाषा में और easy भाषा में बोले तो they are fats. Okay. Now how will you define lipids? So lipids are a class of organic compounds. Again, obviously organic compounds, just like amino acids, lipids are also a class of organic compounds only. Okay, that are fatty acids or their derivatives. Okay. तो ये जो lipids है, the most important thing that we need to remember about lipids is that they are insoluble in water, but they are soluble in organic solvents. Okay, so this is the most important thing that you need to remember or need to understand about lipids, and that is exactly the reason why fats are stored inside our body. Okay, we all know that whenever excess fat gets stored in our body, we become mota, isn't it? मोटापन आ जाता है, मोटे हो जाते हैं हम और दिखने में खराब लगते हैं, है ना? क्यों? क्योंकि फैट जो है वो बॉडी में जम रहा है. ओके, क्यों जम रहा है? बिकॉज इट इज नॉट सॉल्युबल इन वाटर. सोचो अगर वो वाटर में सॉल्युबल होता तो क्या होता? वाटर के साथ साथ इट वुड हैव बीन एक्सक्रीटेड फ्रॉम द बॉडी, isn't it? बिकॉज वाटर इज समथिंग जो हमेशा हमारे बॉडी से निकल रहा है, या तो यूरिन के थ्रू, नहीं तो स्टूल के थ्रू, नहीं तो स्वेट के थ्रू. Okay, water is something which never gets stored in our body. मतलब excess, obviously the amount which is required that will be stored in the body, but excess amount में water will never be stored in the body. So if these fats are actually soluble in water, then along with the water, the excess fats, along with the excess water, the excess fats will also be excreted from our body. But that is not the case. Why? Because these fats or lipids, they are not soluble in water. They are soluble in organic solvents, जो कि हमारे बॉडी में जम जाता है और वो कभी निकालता नहीं है. ओके, मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सो एग्जांपल ऑफ लिपिड्स क्या होगा? नेचुरल ऑयल, वैक्स एंड स्टेरॉइड्स. ओके, वैक्स मतलब पता ही है आई थिंक. स्टेरॉइड्स मतलब क्या? एक टाइप का दवाई होता है, मेनली स्टेरॉइड्स, जिसमें स्टेरॉइड इज अ मेन कॉम्पोनेंट. ठीक है, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टेरॉइड्स आर बेसिकली वेरी फास्ट एक्टिंग, but they have different side effects. Okay, why? Again, because they are nothing but fat. Okay, and if the amount of fat is excess in your body, then anyway it will cause harm, no matter if it is a medicine or not. ओके, वो खाना हो कि वो चाहे मेडिसिन हो, चाहे वो जो भी हो, वो तुम्हारे बॉडी का नुकसान करेगा. इसलिए स्टेरॉइड्स का बहुत सारे साइड इफेक्ट्स भी होता है, लेकिन स्टेरॉइड मेडिसिन आर वेरी यूजफुल एंड हेल्पफुल, पर्टिकुलरली व्हेन वी डू नॉट हैव एनी अदर ऑप्शन एज डॉक्टर्स. ओके, कोई भी ऑप्शन जब बचा नहीं होता है तब डॉक्टर्स स्टेरॉइड्स यूज करते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर लाइफ सेवर्स. ओके, यार SOS मेडिसिन. और नेचुरल ऑयल में क्या हो जाएगा, क्या आ जाएगा? ऑब्वियसली जो ऑयल हम खाते हैं या बालों में लगाते हैं, ठीक है, जैसे कि नारियल तेल हो गया, कोकोनट ऑयल, सोयाबीन ऑयल, सनफ्लावर ऑयल, दीज आर ऑल डिफरेंट एग्जांपल्स ऑफ natural oils, okay, which are nothing but lipids. Now talking about the structure of lipids. ठीक है, तो lipids में क्या रहता है? Mainly रहता है fatty acid और उसके साथ साथ रहता है glycerol. So let's first talk about fatty acid. What is a fatty acid? It will be having a carboxylic acid with a long aliphatic tail, जिसको हम aliphatic chain भी बोल सकते हैं, which is either saturated or unsaturated. Okay, so what is the difference, basic difference between saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid? Something very important you need to understand very well. Okay, so saturated fatty acid में क्या होगा? कोई भी डबल बॉन्ड नहीं रहेगा कार्बन के बीच में. So as you can see, जितने भी कार्बन्स यहाँ पे है, how many carbons? Let's count. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 10 carbon molecules are there or carbon atoms are there. Among them, see, no double bond is present. So that is the main property of saturated fatty acid, that there will be no double bond between the carbon atoms. But as soon as you come to unsaturated fatty acid का अगर देखेंगे उसमें देखो डबल बॉन्ड है, दो कार्बन के बीच में डबल बॉन्ड है. यहाँ पे एक ही डबल बॉन्ड दिखाया है. इट्स नॉट नेसेसरीली दैट ओनली वन डबल बॉन्ड विल बी प्रेजेंट, एक से ज्यादा भी हो सकता है, लेकिन मिनिमम एक डबल बॉन्ड होना ही है, तभी हम उसको अनसैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड बोलेंगे. इफ नो डबल बॉन्ड इज प्रेजेंट दैट मीन्स इट्स अ सैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड. ओके, और क्या डिफरेंस है बिटवीन सैचुरेटेड एंड अनसैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड्स? अनसैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड्स आर मच मोर हेल्दी देन सैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड्स. हेल्दी मतलब वो सेहत के लिए अच्छा होता है, ठीक है. सो अनसैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड्स विल बी more prescribed by the doctors to be included in the diet than the saturated fatty acids. Okay, because unsaturated fatty acids जो है they will not be get stored inside the body easily in comparison to saturated fatty acids. Okay, a fatty acid has a carboxyl group attached to an R group. Okay, so saturated fatty acids का क्या definition दे रहा है? देखो, saturated fatty acids have no double bonds between the individual carbon atoms of the fatty acid chain. Exactly what I said. So ये जो दिख रहा है, ये जो chain है, that is the fatty acid chain. Chain made up of different carbon atoms. That is the fatty acid chain. तो किसी किसी fatty acid का chain लंबा होगा, किसी किसी fatty acid का chain छोटा होगा. So the longer chain fatty acids will be known as the long chain fatty acids, and जिसमें कम होगा वो होगा short chain fatty acids. Okay. और unsaturated fatty acids का definition क्या होगा? They will be having one or more double bonds between the carbon atoms of the fatty acid chain. Moving forward, the R group that is present in the fatty acid, ठीक जैसे amino acid में भी R group था, just like that in the fatty acid also we have the R group. But this R group can be of what types? It can be either a methyl group or a ethyl group or higher number of CH2 groups. Okay, 1 carbon to 19 carbons. So total we can have max to max up to 19 carbons in a particular fatty acid chain. Okay. For example, palmitic acid, it is having 16 carbons including carboxyl carbon. So अगर carboxyl carbon को भी हम जोड़ लेंगे तो total we will be having 16 carbons in palmitic acid. So it will be a 16 carbon fatty acid chain. Okay, so see, let's count 16 carbon है कि नहीं? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. Okay, so 16 chain carbon fatty acid का example अगर मांगेंगे तो हम बोल सकते हैं it is palmitic acid. Okay, moving forward to arachidonic acid. What is arachidonic acid? It will be having 20 carbon atoms. Okay, among which there will be 4 double bonds including the carboxyl carbon. Okay, so let's count. This is the structure of arachidonic acid. 4 double bond है कि नहीं देखते हैं. 1 2 3 4, isn't it? 4 double bonds are also there, and total they are saying 20 carbon atoms will be there. So let's count that also. 1 plus 4, isn't it? CH2 4, मतलब कि कार्बन एटम्स कितना हुआ? 4. सो 4 प्लस 1 5 हो गया, फिर 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16, यहाँ पे 3 होगा, सो 17 18 19 हो गया, एंड दिस विल बी 1 C, दैट इज 20. 19 प्लस 1 20. ओके, नेक्स्ट कमिंग टू समथिंग कॉल्ड ग्लिसरॉल. सो सिंपल लिपिड को हम बोलेंगे ग्लिसरॉल, which is nothing but trihydroxypropane. So glycerol का जो chemical name होगा that will be trihydroxypropane. तो क्या structure है glycerol का? 3 carbon atoms होगा. Okay, so simple lipid का example होगा glycerol, and this is exactly how the structure of glycerol will look like, and the chemical name of glycerol will be trihydroxypropane. So lipids are classified into what types? Let's see. We have simple lipids, we have compound lipids, and then we have derived lipids. Simple lipids क्या है? ग्लिसरॉल बोल ही दिया मैंने. So there will be just the esters of fatty acids, जिसमें क्या क्या आएगा? फैट्स आएगा एंड ऑयल्स आएगा. ठीक है. compound lipids का अगर बात करेंगे, compound मतलब something complex जो और किसी के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. किसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ होगा? with alcohol. ओके, एस्टर्स ऑफ फैटी एसिड्स के साथ अगर अल्कोहल जोड़ देंगे, so we will get compound. एंड डिराइव लिपिड्स मीन्स जो किसी और से डिराइव हुआ है, ठीक है, कहां से डिराइव हुआ है, फ्रॉम हाइड्रोकार्बन रिंग्स और हाइड्रोकार्बन साइड चेन. ओके, now talking about simple lipids, so they will be the esters of fatty acids and long chain alcohols. Okay, so basically they will be the compound lipids. Esters of fatty acids and long chain alcohol मतलब वो compound lipid हो गया है, ठीक है. Example में क्या क्या आएगा, wax, fats and oils. So this is only the fatty acid, उसके साथ ग्लिसरॉल जुड़ेगा, जुड़ के बनाएगा ट्राई असाइल ग्लिसरॉल, ठीक है. ट्राई मतलब तीन, ठीक है, तीन मतलब उसमें तीन फैटी एसिड ग्रुप रहेगा, सी 1 2 3, दैट्स व्हाई इट्स ट्राई असाइल ग्लिसरॉल. सो ट्राई असाइल ग्लिसरॉल मतलब ग्लिसरॉल के साथ 3 fatty acid groups will get attached to make a triacyl glycerol. Okay, and उसका example होगा wax, fats and oils. Now coming to waxes. So what is wax? Wax will be a simple lipid which is an ester of a long chain alcohol and a fatty acid. Okay, तो fatty acid के साथ long chain alcohol अगर जुड़ जाएगा, long chain alcohol का ester जुड़ जाएगा, तो उसको हम बोलेंगे wax, which will be a simple lipid. Okay, oils क्या होगा, triglycerides that are liquid at room temperature are called oils. Okay, room temperature में जो triglycerides liquid form में रहेगा उनको हम बोलेंगे oils. This one. And moving on to fats. So triglycerides that are solid at room temperature will be called fats. So basically fats और oils same ही है. Oil वो है जो room temperature में liquid form में रहेगा और fat वो है जो रूम टेम्परेचर में सॉलिड फॉर्म में रहे. दैट इज द बेसिक डिफरेंस बिटवीन फैट्स एंड ऑयल्स. ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू समथिंग कॉल्ड मोनोग्लिसराइड. व्हाट इज मोनोग्लिसराइड? मोनो मींस वन, इजंट इट? तो जिसमें ओनली वन फैटी एसिड मॉलिक्यूल रहेगा विद ग्लिसरॉल, उसको हम बोलेंगे मोनोग्लिसराइड. So that is exactly the definition that they have given over here. Monoglyceride is a glyceride in which each glycerol molecule has formed an ester bond with exactly one fatty acid molecule. So this is exactly how the structure will look like. Okay, so see, only one fatty acid is attached with the glycerol molecule. So accordingly diglyceride किसको बोलेंगे? जिसमें दो fatty acid molecules जुड़ेगा. Exactly what is happening over here, isn't it? ये एक fatty acid group है, ये दूसरा फैटी एसिड ग्रुप, तो वन ग्लिसरॉल प्लस टू फैटी एसिड्स मींस डाइग्लिसराइड्स. अकॉर्डिंगली ट्राइग्लिसराइड्स या ट्राइग्लिसरॉल जो ऑलरेडी मैं पहले वाला स्लाइड में बोल चुकी हूँ, उसमें क्या होगा, वन ग्लिसरॉल अलोंग विद थ्री फैटी एसिड ग्रुप्स. सो सी 1 2 3, थ्री फैटी एसिड ग्रुप्स विल बी देयर. ओके, नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट समथिंग कॉल्ड phospholipids. So a phospholipid will be composed of two fatty acids, one glycerol unit, a phosphate group and a polar molecule. तो obviously lipid है मतलब क्या, obviously the lipid part will be there and lipid part means glycerol and fatty acid, isn't it? Along with that a phosphate group will be, so that will make a phospholipid. Okay, example, just they have given us the structural picture. Okay, so see, this is the phosphate group that is attached over here. Okay, and this is the fatty acid group and the remaining is the this is one fatty acid group, this is another fatty acid group. Okay, so two fatty acid groups are there, glycerol is there and phosphate is there. Okay, and also a polar molecule is there. So this is basically the polar molecule. So example of the name of this phospholipid that they have shown over here as example is cephalate. Okay, another phospholipid they have also shown over here, that is lecithin, where the polar molecule is choline. This is the phosphate group, this is the glycerol, this is one fatty acid, this is another fatty acid. Okay, so that is lecithin. So these phospholipids, why it is important, क्यों हम इसके बारे में बोल रहे हैं? Because they are mainly found in the cell membrane, very important component of cell membrane. Neural tissues also have lipids with more complex structures. Okay, more complex than these phospholipids. Now coming to the last part of today's session, that is heterocyclic. हेटेरोसाइक्लिक मतलब क्या, ऑब्वियसली एक साइक्लिक कंपाउंड होगा, उसमें बहुत सारे टाइप्स के मॉलिक्यूल्स रहेंगे, इसलिए हेटेरो. हेटेरो मीन्स डिफरेंट. ओके, एंड व्हाट आर द हेटेरो एटम्स दैट विल बी प्रेजेंट? नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन एंड सल्फर. दीज आर द डिफरेंट कंपाउंड्स दैट विल बी प्रेजेंट. Living organisms have a number of carbon compounds in which heterocyclic rings can be formed. So biological compounds having heterocyclic rings in their structure, just कुछ ऐसे biological compounds के बारे में यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. These are basically the nitrogenous bases which are found in DNA and RNA. We all know what is DNA and RNA. They are the important genetic materials. DNA is mainly the genetic material of each and every living organism, and RNA is the genetic material of mostly the viruses, and it is also found in some of the plants. Okay, but it's rare. It's mainly present as the genetic material of viruses. Okay, and obviously in other living organisms. Okay, but DNA is the main genetic material of all the living organisms. Okay, so what are the nitrogenous base? Two types of nitrogenous bases are there, purine and pyrimidine. See, all of these are heterocyclic compounds. As you can see, different types of cyclic components are there. Okay, so purine का दो variety होगा, adenine and guanine, and pyrimidine का तीन variety होगा, cytosine, thymine and uracil. Okay, among this, uracil will only be present in RNA and thymine will only be present in DNA. And cytosine जो है वो both DNA and RNA में होगा, and adenine and guanine is also present in both DNA and RNA. Now, what are nucleotides? Nucleotides are basically the functional and structural unit of DNA and RNA. Okay, so basically these are molecules which are comprised of a sugar molecule, a phosphate unit and a nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous base के बारे में हम already बोल चुके हैं, adenine, guanine and cytosine, thymine and uracil, purine and pyrimidine base. Okay, उसके साथ साथ क्या रहेगा, एक sugar molecule रहेगा which is usually a ribose sugar. Ribose means there will be 5 carbon and a phosphate backbone रहेगा. Okay, which will be forming the phosphodiester backbone. So only the nitrogenous base and the sugar, सिर्फ अगर इन दोनों को पकड़ेंगे तो we will be having nucleoside, और उसके साथ साथ अगर phosphate bond, phosphate backbone को जोड़ देंगे, phosphate group को जोड़ देंगे, then what we will be having is the nucleotide. Okay, so basically nucleotide is the entire functional unit, or we can say the monomer of nucleic acids, that is DNA or RNA. Okay, so this is how the nitrogenous base looks like. This is the sugar, as I said, 5 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the phosphate, PO4. Okay, so this is a more detailed view of nucleotide. This view is not that much important. This image is more important for you. Okay. Now talking about something called adenylic acid. Okay, what is adenylic acid? AMP. What is the full form of AMP? Adenosine monophosphate. Okay, means adenine के साथ, mono means one. Adenine के साथ one phosphate group will be attached. Exactly how you can see over here. Okay, so it is a nucleotide which is used as a monomer in DNA and RNA. Okay, so basically adenine के साथ अगर हम adenosine के साथ अगर हम एक phosphate group add कर देंगे, then we will be getting AMP. Similarly, guanylic acid क्या होगा? GMP, isn't it? Guanosine monophosphate, guanine के साथ एक phosphate group add कर देंगे अगर, ठीक है? So this is guanine, उसके साथ एक phosphate group add कर दिया, हो गया guanylic acid. Okay, so ये जो accordingly क्या होगा? Thymidilic acid होगा, uracilic acid, uridylic acid होगा, cytidilic acid होगा. Okay, so these are basically the nucleotides or the monomers. So nucleic acids like DNA and RNA will be consisting of nucleotides only. DNA and RNA function as genetic material. This is something I have already told. Now we have come to the end of this topic, so we will be discussing about the MCQs regarding lipids and heterocyclic compounds. So the first MCQ that we have, lipids are soluble in, obviously not water, it will be organic solvent. So the right option will be number 2, option number 2. Okay. Second MCQ, triglycerides that are liquid at room temperature will be obviously oils, isn't it? So the right option will be 2. Number 3, glycerol is a number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So the right option will be 1, 2, 3 trihydroxypropane. So all of these are trihydroxypropane. So to understand which will be the correct answer, you need to go back to the slide where I had showed the diagram. From the diagram, you will be able to make out whether it's 1, 2, 3 or 1, 1, 1 or 1, 2, like that. Okay. Next MCQ, number of carbon atoms in R group of arachidonic acid. 19, 20, 16 and 15. The right option will be 19. A nucleoside is made up of number 1 sugar and phosphate, number 2 sugar and nitrogen base, number 3 phosphate and nitrogen base, number 4 sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base. So the correct option will be sugar and nitrogen base. शुगर एंड नाइट्रोजन बेस होगा तो न्यूक्लियोसाइड होगा और न्यूक्लियोसाइड के साथ जब फॉस्फेट जुड़ जाएगा तब वो हो जाएगा न्यूक्लियोटाइड. नेक्स्ट, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कैन फंक्शन एज अ जेनेटिक मटेरियल? डीएनए, आरएनए, both 1 and 2, lipid. So the right option will be obviously both 1 and 2. Okay, so I think that's it in today's session. Soon we will be moving on to the next session of biomolecules. Till then, thank you and goodbye.